How do you look back on the film? What did Art do well, and what did you like about his performance?
I think he looked a little more comfortable and calm in the pocket. I think he worked through his progressions a little bit better. I think we had a pretty good idea of how things were going to come off, and they somewhat came off the way we thought. Some didn't, and he had to kind of work his way through to the next guy or the next guy, or throw it away. I thought he did a really good job with that. I didn't see the impulse type throws. There's a couple opportunities there that maybe that would have happened, and he kind of held himself back and either went to the next guy or got the ball out safely. So I think he did a really good job of operating what we asked him to do. He there's a couple plays there that potentially had a potential for some scores. One down in the red zone, ended up throwing it away. But play it both ways. You harp on them all week that this is a team that's how they've made their living for 2 years. They intercept balls in the red zone. You got to be smart. If you don't like it, get it out. That type of thing. And then so when something flashes late as he's getting it out, it's hard to say. You can't talk out of both sides there. So maybe, but I thought he really, first start of the year against a good defense. I think he got the team well. I think he was really, accurate for the most part with his throws. I think he was calm in the pocket. I think he read everything the way we wanted it read. And, I don't even know if he got hit. I thought the pass protection was really good. I think it was difficult to operate with essentially no run game, which was really the shock of the game for me, that we weren't able to run the ball more effectively, because it contributed to a lot of different things. One, there wasn't a whole lot going on down the field because they didn't have to do much. They played pretty loose in the back end, and they were able to play the run with 6 guys and, kind of frustrate us in that vein. So, we went out in the first half, it's the guy's first start, and I'm thinking we're going to be able to run the ball, and we're going to, have a good mix of run and pass. The second half, the way he looked, that he was going to take care of the ball and hit some of these plays, and the way he was playing gave us kind of more confidence to say in the second half, like, the run's not working, let's just start throwing the ball a little bit more. And that's kind of what we did as the game proceeded. Kind of got a little more comfortable with each other, I guess, as the game went on, where he got more confident, and we talked at halftime, and he felt pretty good about how he was seeing the game, and kind of gave him a little bit longer leash there in the second half. It didn't turn into more points, probably as much because of the penalties. It was like 1 step up, 3 steps back on a lot of those plays. You look back at 1st and 10 at the 20, becomes 2nd and 20 at the 40, and then 3rd and 18 on the whatever. Those are, you're killing yourself the whole day. Even the couple times we got back, it was like you had to run 5 more plays just to get back to where you just were, and then try to put it in the end zone. Particularly with, they said how they were playing off and pretty loose. That means you got to run a lot. You got to execute a lot of plays to get it in. And so, if on a normal day, the first couple of games, I don't even know what we had, 2 penalties in one game and 1 in the other on off. But I don't even, it was pretty low. If it was one of those type of days, even that we weren't blocking them great in the run game, we just let the guy go and took the penalty. Just took whatever was going to happen and not had to back the thing up. I think we would have had a lot more points, I would think. But that's obviously not how it happened.
What was the issue with the run game? Was it their scheme? Was it the blocking? Was it?
We just didn't block them well. I thought, it was like opposite of when we went to Iowa. Like we said, I thought we blocked them well enough. I thought the run game was going well enough to give us a chance in that game, and we didn't have much in the pass game. And this was like a flip. I mean, we just, guys individually or collectively trying to work together up front had issues blocking some of their movements, some of their stunts, just in general. Whatever the reason. I thought we were a little more passive in this game than we had been up front, and it obviously showed. And so it's not like those guys forgot how to play. You knew you were going to get those guys playing downhill. After the game that they had with Kansas, it was going to be all-out assault up front. I mean, that's because they had to hear about that all week, and they were going to come and try to prove the point. And they did a good job up front, we didn't do a particularly good job. So that put the whole thing in a little bit of a different light in terms of the way the game unfolded, because just watching, I thought we were going to be able to run the ball.
And I think Raheem, I know you had more opportunities against UMass. Raheem, I think, carried the ball 12 times against UMass, only 11 the last 2 weeks. Do you need to get him more involved in the run game again going forward?
Yeah, probably. I don't know that was. I think because we come out in the second half and it was going to be more of a throw game anyway. Kind of wanted him out flanked. I don't think we would really run the ball a whole lot in the second half. Just the way, just how many plays you get, and didn't want to waste any plays. But yeah, I mean he's a really good runner. I don't think either one of them really carried the ball. The Iowa game really didn't have that many plays in general, and get behind and kind of goes out the window. And then this game was more for just watching the game, going, well, we could keep trying to hammer this in here to say that these guys need to carry the ball more. We could just try to do what we've been doing well and get them involved in the perimeter and see if we can't score that way. And then we had them in the backfield for a couple of screens, and one almost came to the house. The guy splits two guys, and the shoestrings on, and he goes down. And so there's a lot of obvious frustration with the way some of the stuff came out. But yeah, I would love to have Raheem with a ton of carries, I think, and Isaiah. I mean, this is a game here. You got to you need to run hard in this game. And those are the guys that do it for us. And this game coming up, and but that's just, I guess it's just kind of how it came out. I mean, really, like I've said before, like any time he has the ball, I like usually what happens. So whether it's run or pass, the guy finds a way to make it work and make people miss, and he's aggressive. And so, as many times as he can get the ball is what we're trying to do. I think a lot of passes went to him, probably not as many runs, but I think that's just kind of how the game came off as it went on.
With the heart, is this kind of the game you expected at some point last year, and how much do you think it can help him moving forward?
Yeah, I think it just, it's like the biggest thing of any young quarterback, the whole throw thing, and the fact that you feel like I have to throw it to that guy because the play is designed to go to him, so it's going to him. Come hell or high water, I gotta, the feeling of this is what these guys want, so I gotta get it to him. You can tell he's like kind of gets it a little bit more. He's watched a lot more football, both just in general. I think he spent more time over the last year watching more pro and college games, and just looking at things in a different light of how games unfold. That some people go 3 and out, punt, and then you get the ball back, and something good happens, rather than feeling like, okay, it's the third play, it's 3rd and 10, we only got a yard, I got to get this ball somewhere, and it goes to the other team. Like just little things that I think have kind of fallen off, so to speak, where he's just got a little bit better presence and calmness about him. Confidence, I think a little bit is confidence knowing that I don't have to prove like on every play that I can complete a pass. Like let me just let it all unfold. I'll do it, play smart, and then let people judge it however they want to judge it. I think that's part of it too. So yeah, I was happy for the way I told that's the best game I've seen him play without any question. Obviously, we would like to score more points. We would like to the last play. I mean, that's just trying to throw it out of bounds. But I certainly was happy with the way the guy played. Happy for him because I think there were a lot of eyes on him. What's going to happen here? And you know how those things, the perceptions sometimes become reality. And if one bad play here or there early in the game, and everybody can go to the old sky is falling deal. And I think he knew that too. But he really did a great job of operating, the way we want him to operate, and hopefully he could, keep building on it.
The slow starts, especially from an offensive standpoint. I know it got to be frustrating, but the way you script it, you haven't scored a touchdown since Indiana last year. It's 10 games. Is there a reason for this season specifically, the 3 games that you look at, and how do you solve it going to Michigan?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess a couple of them, it really comes down to 3rd downs. I mean, we ended up scoring on whatever it was, the 6th play of the game instead of I guess just the way the 3rd downs have come off. We threw an interception, I think, on the first 3rd down. We kind of get hit on the throw. We converted the 3rd down in Iowa. The second one was really our base play. The ball kind of got bumped off, and we had nothing. Yep. And then last week. I thought we had a chance again with Bo, but he kind of drifted out of the window, and so could play, misses by whatever much, and then we go down and score in the second drive. So I don't know if there's any rhyme or reason other than why didn't you convert the third down in each of those instances. I think is where it comes up. We haven't been particularly great on third downs, as it is. A lot of that goes back to, for the most part, usually comes up at some point in that drive, a pass. It's not like you're going to run it on 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. So really, I think it has as much to do with executing third downs in those first group of plays. They usually come off the way we expect, but you can draw it up, that's fine. But in terms of block, there's usually some issue. I don't think it's any common theme, across the board. We look back at a lot of the first drives, but certainly kind of play script that they want to get to. Those are usually more the first and second down plays, and you know what you're going to call in those third downs. I think we just haven't had. It's usually a third down conversion that takes you out of it.
Questions?
Is this your first time going back to Michigan to coach?
25 years, I think. Yeah, well, to coach, yeah, for sure. I went back for a couple workouts, but yeah.
What do you think that'll be like to be on the field there, big house?
I'm looking forward to it. I really, I said this before, last year, I spent 4 years there, and it was right after college, so it was really almost like my second college experience when I was there, and got to work with a lot of great people and learn how to, kind of exist in this business from A to Z, from, everything from practices to recruiting to scheme to the offense. I worked on offense and defense, so I did a little bit of everything. So, it's a great place. It's a neat mixture of grad school, law school, undergrad, and it's a place that really kind of embraces their tradition and rallies around the school, the whole area. And I haven't been in the actual stadium really 25 years, I guess it is. So that's a whole lot I'm getting. But I'm looking forward to it. I don't know, I know Jim being back there, a lot of the guys that, were previous, between Lloyd Carr, I don't know, Gary Moeller, some of the guys, Jerry Hanlon, I don't know if he's still doing the radio or not, but a lot of guys I actually work with are still kind of back around the program a lot because of Jim being back there, and they were there when Jim played. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. They're obviously, it's going to be a heck of a challenge, as it always is, to play them. But it's a neat place, and I kind of have great kind of memories there. 4 years is a lifetime in some places and they were won a couple Big Tens and the Rose Bowl and so forth. So Hutchinson's son is playing for him now. Steve was a senior. I was there for 2 years with Steve when he was playing, when he was a captain there. So again, getting old, but it'll be a good time to go back and be in the stadium again.
Coach, although you guys had 300 plus passing yards, the receivers only accounted for 40 or 68 of them. Well, what's going on with the receiver group? Is it lack of separation or route running?
Well, it depends on how you look at it, because Raheem had the big one out of the backfield, but he also had some of the catches for Aaron and Raheem were as receivers. We kind of line them up, whether they were slots or outside or crossing the formation or whatever it might be. So they took some of the numbers away, and again, some of it was just how it came out. They didn't have to do a whole lot coverage-wise because usually we talk about getting extra guys in the box, or however you want to say it, or safeties down that could spring those guys loose. They really didn't have to do that to stop the run. They really were able to kind of lay back, and so a lot of the times when that happens, those guys are kind of clearing. Some of the outside guys become more clear out deal, and you have to operate underneath. And then, unfortunately, we had a couple shots. Bo had a chance for a big one up the sideline. Isaiah had a chance. As a young guy, you got to kind of take that guy over your back and make a play on the ball, and at least make it a PI. So those were just off the top of my head a chance for a couple of big ones. So Davon, however you would count him, we count him as a receiver. We kind of line him up as a tight end and a receiver the other day, and he made some plays for us too. So I guess it's just kind of how it came off, and the fact that those two guys, Raheem and Aaron, have kind of played a little bit of receiver, so they take some of the catches away from the guys who are listed as receivers because they're lined up there. So it's a little bit of everything, I think.
All right, thanks, Don.
Okay.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right,
Thanks,
thanks,
Con.
guys.
Appreciate it.